Iron Man is a 2008 American superhero film based on the Marvel Comics character of the same name. Produced by Marvel Studios and distributed by Paramount Pictures. It is the first film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Directed by Jon Favreau, from a screenplay by the writing teams of Mark Fergus and Hawk Ostby. In Art Markham and Matt Holloway, the film stars Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark, Iron Man alongside Terrence Howard, Jeff Bridges, Gwyneth Paltrow, Leslie Bibb, and Sean Tubb. In the film, following his escape from captivity by a terrorist group, world-famous industrialist and master engineer Stark builds a mechanized suit of armor and becomes the superhero, Iron Man. A film featuring Iron Man was developed at Universal Pictures, 20th Century Fox, and New Line Cinema at various times since 1990, before Marvel Studios reacquired the rights in 2005. Marvel produced the project as its first self-financed film, with Paramount Pictures distributing. Favreau signed on as director in April 2006 and faced opposition from Marvel when trying to cast Downey in the title role. The actor was signed in September. Filming took place from March to June 2007, primarily in California, to differentiate the film from numerous other superhero stories that are set in New York City. During filming, the actors were free to create their dialogue, because pre-production was focused on the story and action. Rubber and metal versions of the armor, created by Stan Winston's company, were mixed with computer-generated imagery to create the title character. Iron Man premiered in Sydney on April 14, 2008, and was released in the United States on May 2nd. As the first film in Phase 1 of the MCU, it grossed over $585 million, becoming the 8th highest-grossing film of 2008, and received praise from critics, especially for Downey's performance, as well as Favreau's direction, visual effects, action sequences, and writing. The American Film Institute selected it as one of the 10 best films of 2008. It received 2 nominations at the 81st Academy Awards for Best Sound Editing and Best Visual Effects. The Library of Congress selected the film for preservation in the United States National Film Registry for being culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. 2 sequels have been released, Iron Man 2 and Iron Man 3. Tony Stark, who has inherited the defense contractor Stark Industries from his late father Howard Stark, tours in war-torn Afghanistan with his best friend and military liaison, James Rhodey Rhodes, to demonstrate the new Jericho missile. After the demonstration, his convoy is ambushed by a terrorist group, the Ten Rings, and Stark is gravely wounded by a missile used by the attackers, one of his company's own. He is captured and imprisoned in a cave by the Ten Rings. Yinsen, a fellow captive and doctor, implants an electromagnet into Stark's chest to keep the shrapnel shards that wounded him from reaching his heart and killing him. Ten Rings leader Raza offers Stark freedom in exchange for building a Jericho missile for the group. But he and Yinsen believe that Raza will not keep his word. Stark and Yinsen secretly build a small, powerful electric generator called an arc reactor to power Stark's electromagnet and construct a prototype armored suit to aid in their escape. Although they keep the suit hidden, the Ten Rings discover their intentions and attack the workshop. Yinsen sacrifices himself to divert them while the suit powers up. The armored Stark battles his way out of the cave to find the dying Yinsen, then burns the Ten Rings' weapons and flies away, crashing into the desert and destroying the suit. After being rescued by Rhodes, Stark returns home and announces that his company will cease manufacturing weapons. Obadiah Stane, his father's old partner and the company's manager, advises Stark that this will bankrupt Stark Industries and ruin his father's legacy. In his home workshop, Stark builds a sleeker, more powerful version of his improvised armor suit, as well as a more powerful arc reactor for it in his chest after testing a prototype. Personal assistant Pepper Potts places the original reactor inside a small glass showcase. Though Stane requests details, a suspicious Stark decides to keep his work to himself. At a charity event, reporter Christine Everhart informs Stark that his company's weapons were recently delivered to the Ten Rings and are being used to attack Yinsen's home village. Stark dons his new armor and flies to Afghanistan, where he fends off the terrorists and saves the villagers. While flying home, Stark is intercepted by the Air Force. he reveals his secret identity to Rhodes over the phone to end the attack. Meanwhile, the Ten Rings gather the pieces of Stark's prototype suit and meet with Stain, who has been trafficking arms to the Ten Rings and has staged a coup to replace Stark as Stark Industries CEO by hiring the Ten Rings to kill him, subdues Raza, and has him and the rest of the group killed. Stain has a massive new armor suit reverse-engineered from the wreckage. Seeking to track his company's illegal shipments, Stark sends Potts to hack into its database. She discovers that Stain hired the Ten Rings to kill Stark, but the group altered their plans when they realized they had a direct route to Stark's weapons. Potts meets with Agent Phil Coulson of SHIELD, an intelligence agency, to inform him of Stan's activities. Stan's scientists are unable to replicate Stark's miniaturized arc reactor. So Stain enters Stark's home, stuns Stark, and steals the one from his chest. Stark manages to replace it with his original reactor. Potts and several SHIELD agents attempt to arrest Stain, but he dons his suit and overpowers them. Stark fights Stain but is outmatched without his new reactor to run his suit at full capacity. The fight carries Stark and Stain to the top of the Stark Industries building, where Stark instructs Potts to overload the large arc reactor powering the building. This unleashes a massive electrical surge that causes Stain to fall into the reactor, and he is killed in the explosion. The next day, at a press conference, Stark publicly admits to being the superhero the press has dubbed Iron Man. In a post-credits scene, SHIELD director Nick Fury visits Stark at his home, and telling him that he has become part of a bigger universe, and that he wants to discuss the Avenger initiative.